Ich came, ich hatte skillet mare, far allelu, la blade he vafe med molen of hio, idievo, idila hio, idievo, hio, la blade he vafe med molen of far allelu, vafu toch goed boos, en nog kan je een hio, idievo, Wafu toch goed bozen, hij nog kan je een het var allelu. Wafu toch goed, die het rook tron aan stio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Wafu toch goed, die het rook tron aan stio. Het var allelu. Vami hinga suokas na hukit manal hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Vami hinga suokas na hukit manal het var allelu. Van sayed na spraden korpscholte na glanje hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Het var allelu. Was mal in a spinning as not helpen salo hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Was mal in a spinning as not helpen salo. Het var allelu. Een anja gedoog swallow herken var hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Anja gedoog swallow herken var het var allelu. Moachki en je came stunje trevix medel hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio. Idievo, idiele hio, idievo, hio.
That's Maeve McKinnon. Avich Kane, ich chemisch Hades. Yes. Okay, I don't have the Gaelic. And that's from her album Don't Sing Love Songs. More information at mavemckinnon.com. You are listening to The Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. We're also available at 98.8 FM in the Edinburgh area, Leith FM, where Leith lives. The Bothy Collective are just back from the Isle of Skye. And for that reason, I'm Jack Foster. I'm joined by the no very big and the awfully shy. I'm talking, of course, of Dave Dengle's Gimble. And yes, we left Frank in the Highlands again. It's Chris Silver.
What does that mean, Jack?
It's from that god-awful song, Donald, Where's Your Trousers?
I think it's a good job it's radio, because for the listeners' benefit, Jack actually decided not to wear trousers for that link.
I think I'm the awfully shy because Dave is not very big.
Can I just say for listeners, that will be the first and last time that song is ever referenced on the Garden Sessions. So you're safe in the knowledge of that. Dave, what's coming up in the show?
All the regular features, folky news, another angle, the official Garden Sessions download.
Give us a hint on the angle.
It's sung by someone from a famous family.
From a famous family?
Folky family band.
A folky family band? Maybe Irish. There's a lot of Irish folky family bands.
Could be.
Is it like the Watersons? The Carthys?
Might be.
Well, you have to answer.
Possibly. No, I don't.
If I'm guessing.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
If you get it, I'll tell you.
Right, fair enough. What else is coming up?
We've got a special report, fantastic special report on the 2008 Royal Oak Folkathon.
Yes. I was there. You weren't. You weren't. Why?
You ran the Folkathon.
I was in the Highlands at the time.
And Silver...
I can't remember where I was.
You can't remember where you were on the day of the Royal Oak Folkathon.
Sadly, I was unable to run in the Folkathon myself. But,
okay, fair enough.
Jack did us proud, as you will hear.
We've also, as always, got the best in new songwriting and traditional folk music,
Yes.
which I think we're going to be hearing some of right now. Traditional folk music.
We are indeed. Silver, what's coming up? What is the second song?
The second song we have today is 500 Reel.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Beefy folk. The Bonnie Earl of Murray.
Healings and Lowlands, oh, where have you been? They slain the Murray and they've laid him on the green. He was a Burkitt and he played at the bar. Oh, the bonny yellow Murray, he was the fleur among them all. And Lang May's lady, the Curfrey Castle do, as she sees the yellow Murray come soon and through the tune. Ah, woe betide you, Huntley, and Warford did you say? Oh, bad you bring him to me, but forbade you him to slay. He was a Burkitt and he played at the ring. Oh, the bonny yellow Murray, aye, he might have been a king. Lang May's lady, the Curfrey Castle do, as she sees the yellow Murray come soon and through the tune. Healings and Lowlands, oh, where have you been? I'd have slain the yellow Murray and have laid him on the green. He was a Burkitt and he played at the club. Aye, the bonny yellow Murray, ah, he was the Queen's true love. Couple Castle Doon. As she sees the yellow Murray come soon down through the town.
And that was Five Hand Reel with the Bonnie Earl of Murray. And fantastic stuff.
From the two CD digitally remastered for all that, and Earl of Murray. Very, very good album. Double album, in fact.
Well,
in the meantime,
you're listening to the Garden Sessions, gardensessions.co.uk, podcast at gardensessions.co.uk. Now, Dave, remind us what's coming up.
Everything. We've got an angle, and we've
Give us another hint. We've already had that it's from a singer in a famous family band. What else you got up your sleeve?
It's not about Holland.
Is it about Belgium?
What sort of a hint is that? It's not about Holland.
Luxembourg.
Think about it.
It's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
So I guess that rules out the lowlands of Holland then.
It's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland. Okay.
Nothing to do with Holland
nothing
whatsoever.
Right. That's not so much a hint as an anti-hint.
Can we just say hello to all our listeners in Holland as well?
Yes.
Hello. There are many of them.
Nothing to do with you.
Silver.
It's news. It's folk.
What is it, Chris?
It's the folky news. And the folky news brought to you this week, as ever, in association with Paddy Bort's Wee Folk Club.
This is the third one that we've done in the Royal Oak.
Sorry about that.
It's
Here we go.
Paddy Bort's Wee Folk
Every
Club.
Sunday night at the Oak, we've got the Wee Folk Club at 8:30. An intimate venue, 30 seats, acoustic. It's a great night out. We've got fantastic musicians and singers. Every Sunday night, do come along.
Who was that
And
voice beforehand? What was that all about?
The 13th of April at the Wee Folk Club, we have Scott Renton and Erski, or Brod.
Uerski Brod?
Uerski Brod.
The
Part of
Ouija's.
Ceilidh Culture.
I don't know what that's got to do with Uerski.
You can get more info on that wonderful gig, I'm sure, at royal-oak-folk.com. Top story. Edinburgh's Grand Old Opry Folk, the Royal Oak, held its annual Folkathon in aid of Edinburgh Sick Kids Hospital. The event began at noon with Fife folk legend Andy Chung and ended at 2 a.m. with the Royal Oak Bunch, Alan Hunter, Martin Boland and the Bothy Collective. Just Jack, actually. Jack spoke to organiser Ivor Burney during the event and asked him about the history of the Folkathon.
This is the third one that we've done in the Royal Oak. We originally did one in 1992 where we used 4 venues in Edinburgh, but I decided to restart it again, and I started 3 years ago.
It's been going from strength to strength each year, isn't it?
I certainly hope so. If we had good response from people, artists wanting to play, the stronger the better.
And the cause hasn't changed. It's been for the Sick Kids Hospital in Edinburgh every year.
Done it for the sick kids in Edinburgh every year, and especially now that the announcement that Nicola Sturgeon said that the hospital will be staying there and not getting shut down. I think people of Edinburgh are absolutely delighted to hear that part of news as well.
That's definitely good news, and we'll hopefully raise lots of money today. It must be a fair task getting all these artists together for the day.
It's been good fun. It's hard work getting it organised. Someone turns up late and someone steps in. Musicians are musicians. They're not under the cosh, and they do their best.
And how are you managing to not get completely and utterly drunk before the day's just begun?
Because I'm not even drinking just now. I'm drinking water.
Probably for the best. I think I'll stick to tea myself.
I think after yesterday's performance, I better stick to water for the time being, but I will make up for it later on.
We'll say no more about that. Thanks very much, Ivor Burney.
Here's to Ivor. And there's reason to celebrate.
He did have a drink
the Oak
later.
More than doubled the amount raised last year, pulling together over £800 for the Sick Kids Hospital at Edinburgh. And if you'd like to make a donation to the cause, go to edinburghsickkids.org. And don't forget, the special feature this week is on the Folkathon. That's coming up later on in the show.
It's exciting.
Second story. David Ferrard's much anticipated debut album, Broken Sky, has just been released in the UK by Glasgow independent label
Finally.
Flamingo
That's
West.
also exciting.
It has already been
Exciting
named
news.
Album of the Week on BBC Radio Scotland's Ian Anderson show,
Credentials.
as well as by the Sunday Herald, which named Broken Sky CD of the Week with a 4-star review praising David's uncanny ability to fuse meaningful words with gorgeous melodies. High praise indeed.
It is uncanny.
Canada's Rogue folk review is called Broken Sky. Incisive, topical, and appealing. David Ferrard is one to watch. Here.
Yes.
Produced by Brian Young and recorded at Glasgow's prestigious Cava Sound Studio. The album features some
City
of
of
Scotland's
Culture,
top
1990.
musicians and singers. And what a list this is. What a list this is that I'm about to read you. Karine Polwart, James Ross, Alan Thompson, Alan Kosker, Sandy Butler, Karen Dietz, Yvonne Lyon, and Josh Goforth from North Carolina, USA. And
What
of course,
a lineup.
you can keep up to date with all the latest folky news at gardensessions.co.uk/news. And that's folky news.
The official Garden Sessions download chart. The official Garden Sessions download chart.
This is the official Garden Sessions download chart based on free downloads from gardensessions.co.uk. At 10, it's a re-entry for the Paul McKenna Band, who will be appearing at the birthday concert on the 1st of May, and that's Take My Hand. At 9, a re-entry for Roscoe Galloway, An Island in My Mind.
Now it's such a shame to leave. I only wish I could believe that you showed me your true love, and it wasn't just a bluff. In Orion's belt above, I saw the northern lights a-shining, my spirit fast declining, a darkness in our hearts hidden well from those that know us. Time itself will show us if destiny outgrows us. The spouting cave can blow us to the sky. Iona, you're an island in my mind, Iona.
At 8, it's Up 2 for Bernard Brogue and Bird Watching. At 7, a re-entry for Tantiri, Roving Ploughboy, and I believe Tantiri are coming into the Bothy.
If I'm not mistaken,
feature.
They are the featured artist on the next show.
Fantastic. Wonderful. At 6, it's Up 3 for Nick Allmark with Carry You to Freedom.
The rocks stand out like giants waiting to help us carry you to freedom.
They all mark.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being carried already.
At 5.
You feel free.
I'm getting there.
Well, there you go. At 5, it's a non-mover for the little piece of Edinburgh, the little piece of the Royal Oak that we met on Sky this weekend. Andy Chung with the
We
Wee
met
Room.
him on Sky. What are the odds?
In a cafe.
I wasn't there, unfortunately, but you all met him on Sky.
Dave was ill.
Dave
Yes,
was
I was
ill
ill.
and sleeping.
Yeah. At 4, it's Down 2 for the Arrows, Steel Melter Sun. At 3 and Up 3, Sinead Connolly with Eileen Og. At 2, Down
Nothing
1.
to say there?
Brushed over.
Just letting that one lie.
Getting on with things. At 2, Down 1.
Down 1.
Ooh.
The Arrows.
The Arrows
black
have
is the
fallen
colour.
this
They
week.
have fallen. They've
There's
been
more
struck
arrows to
down.
come later in the show.
They've
Let's
been
just say.
resurge. at
Struck
some point.
down by the tour de force
They were-
that is Up 3. Andy Chung
back.
on top,
Oh.
and it's the Penny Falls.
2, 3, 4. Coming to strike some piece of luck, playing on the Penny Falls. For the now is turned back to dust. Here it is, that's all. Pockets full of jingling change, playing on the Penny Falls. Long summer days to waste away till my mother calls. I'll loose a fishing for a spell. On the links I'll ride the carousel. This floating world is something else, as sights and sounds undo themselves. I'll be coming to strike some piece of luck, playing on the Penny Falls. For the now is turned back to dust. Here it is, that's all. Pockets full of jingling change, playing on the Penny Falls. Long summer days to waste away till the autumn falls. Gallows parlour on the prom. 99 was the number of the song. fighting for a prize that never was. Are we coming to strike some piece of luck, playing on the penny falls? For the now is turned back to dust, here it is, that's all. Pockets full of jingling change, playing on the penny falls. Long summer days to waste away till the autumn falls. This heart was born to time, born to chance. Won't you watch me and I'll watch you make the silver dance? From the start here, this heart was born to time, born to chance. Won't you help me and I'll help you make the silver dance? They're always through my parents' hands, so I go with this heart to make commands. Imaginings I could never understand. Under Jessie Daly's wings I'll learn to dance. To strike some piece of luck, playing on the penny falls. For the now is turned back to dust, here it is, that's all. Pockets full of jingling change, playing on the penny falls. Long summer days to waste away till my mother calls. Bestest feeling of all, here it is, that's all. Playing on the penny falls.
Official Garden Sessions #1, Andy Chung at the Penny Falls. He's back. He's had that at #1 rather a few times in the past, but not for a good while. And his new album is actually out now, which doesn't contain that song, but it's a wonderful album. It's called Broken Gong, and there's more info on that at andychung.co.uk. Silver.
You're listening to gardensessions.co.uk, and you can contact us via podcast at gardensessions.co.uk, and we're also available on 98.8 FM in the Edinburgh area, Leith FM.
Where Leith lives.
And coming up on the show, we have a feature report, commentary.
A royal feature on the Royal Oak.
A royal feature. The Royal Oak Folkathon.
Yes.
And Jack, what's next?
It's The Angle, I think. Dave, right, the singer was in a famous family band, and it's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
No, nothing to do with Holland.
I didn't say it was nothing to do with Holland. I said it was not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
Not about Holland.
Okay, Dave, what's your angle this particular show?
The angle this week is Norma Watterson with the Lowlands of Holland.
It was the Wattersons, and it was the Lowlands of Holland.
It's not, but...
It's not about Holland?
It's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
It's an obscure hint. Well, let's hear it anyway.
Roaring now, and I cannot wait for harbour for a sailor to remain. But the sugar cane was plentiful, and tea grows on every tree, and the lowlands of Harland lie between my love and me. A bonny boat, a boat with silver sails, with 24 young mariners for to rock her through the waves. Come on, you ranting, roaring lads, come on, boys, pull away, for I never had but one true love, and he is far away. No shawl goes around my shoulder, and no comb goes through my hair. Nor candlelight, nor firelight will shine in my bower fair, and never will I married be until the day I die, since the raging seas and stormy winds parted my love and
From the 1997 album Common Tongue, that's Norma Waterson, Lowlands of Holland. Never before was there a song so blatantly about Holland. But Dave says otherwise, and he's the man who knows, so I'll pass over to him. Dave, what's your angle?
Well, it begins with a young chap, and he's lying in his marriage bed. It's the day that he's been married, and he wakes up and he sees a sea captain standing at the top of his bed head saying, "Get up, come on, Riley," which was his name. And you got to come with me. We're going to the lowlands of Holland to fight for land and gold and that
and
kind
it's
of
not
thing.
about Holland.
It's not about Holland, no.
Okay. So wait,
and then
right? Okay, no, okay.
well,
right. He's got to go and fight
and there's
in
the
Holland.
ship in the harbour. The anchor's
It's
at its
not
prow.
about
It's ready to go. The anchor's up, and they're heading off. And there's a gale coming down the Humber, and it's blowing in the right direction.
The Humber in Holland?
No, it's Bristol area.
Oh,
It's
so
not Hull.
So it starts
Is it?
in.
All right, fair
It's
enough.
not the whole bit Hull,
I'm not sure.
Just keep saying
I'm
Hull.
not sure where the Humber is.
Well, so it starts in Britain anyway.
Yeah, it starts in Britain.
Doesn't, and they're going to Holland, but it's not about Holland.
But it's lowlands, surely. I mean, Holland is very low.
And flat.
Well, so it's like low. It's a description of Holland. I mean, the lowlands
it's
of
clearly about Holland.
It's not about Holland. So the gale's blowing down the Humber. It's blowing in the right direction. There's no time to wait. He's got to go. He's got to head off, and he heads off to fight and all that kind of stuff. And then it says that Holland's a lovely place, but there's no harbour, so there's no work for sailors, and you can't stay there. But there's loads of sugar cane and tea growing on every tree.
Is there?
In Holland. See, it's not about Holland.
I've never been to Holland.
It's not about Holland. It's
is there sugar cane?
It's actually probably about New Holland, an area of Australia. Which is also low-lying country.
So are you saying this song isn't actually about Holland?
I'm saying it's not about Holland.
Every day's a school day.
Yep. Which is also flat and low in the middle.
Places,
and there's sugarcane and tea and stuff like that. And
in Australia, they have sugarcane and tea.
And it's a huge distance to be parted from the one he loves, and it's all terrible.
Bad soap operas.
Nothing wrong with Neighbours.
There is plenty wrong with neighbours.
Phil Cunningham agrees with me.
Yeah, well,
He's a neighbour's fan.
And then he goes on to say, what I'll do is I'll build a boat, big boat, silver sails, 24 young mariners.
Phil Cunningham also likes River City.
Do this boat, and they're gonna sail it back. They're gonna pick up the one I love, bring her here. It'll all be cool. We'll never be parted again.
What? So what happens?
Well, basically, he sends a ship off to go and pick up the one he loves. And
I'm trying, but I can't see a story,
it's a
Dave.
huge.
What's the thread?
Quite a story so far, and you've learned something. What more do you want?
I've learned the
It's
song isn't about
educational
Holland,
and informative.
but right.
There's
So
been all stuff going on.
it's not about Holland. He went to fight and
He went to fight and
fell in love.
he was already married. On the night
Oh,
he
right.
got married, he had to go off to fight.
So-
You weren't listening. That's the problem.
Wait, so he
Jack.
went, he fought, and then he went back to his love.
No, he sent a boat back to get her.
Right.
But he says in the meantime, waiting for months and months and months, and I'm not gonna, I won't go out. I won't present myself. I won't make myself available. I won't,
So he wears a shawl.
encourage people to come. And
But
I'll.
why does
no,
he-
he doesn't.
This is written
No, he
from
doesn't.
this is written from the lady's point of view.
Oh, the last
So she's
verse.
chipping in.
Last verse
Right.
is
No shawl
She's saying
goes around my
she's
shoulder.
gone away far away, and I'm not gonna. I'm gonna make myself chaste and not get married because until my love and I are together.
Dave, what does that mean? No shawl goes around my shoulder and no comb goes through my hair. I mean, I know obviously what it means, but what's the relevance?
She's not gonna tart herself up. She's gonna be in essentially. Sorry,
It's a bit body. Dave.
It's quite body, I thought, yeah.
She's going to almost put herself into a state of mourning until she's back together with what
She
the
could
one
wear a
she
black
loves.
shawl. Surely she could comb her hair. I mean, what's
No.
wrong with that?
Well, she's living as though she's been widowed at the time until she's back together with her love.
She'll be a mess by the time he gets back.
And that's it.
So it's
Right.
kind of it's left hanging in the air.
It's
You
quite.
don't know what happened.
Well, essentially, it is left hanging in the air. You're going to find out what happens.
No,
Essentially,
it's-
it's quite miserable, but there's a kernel of moral in there.
Essentially, there
Kernel
isn't.
of moral.
There's a kernel of moral.
Well,
A little tiny.
let's hear the kernel of moral.
There's a kernel of moral, which essentially is saying that if you love someone, you have to stay true to them, even in extenuating circumstances like
Even
being apart.
On the other side of the world.
Yeah, assuming they're coming back.
Right. But how come she says, and never will I be married be until the day I die?
Since the raging
she doesn't know-
seas and stormy winds part of my
She
love
doesn't
life.
know he's coming back. She doesn't know if he's going to make it
So
back, and it's
Suppose they didn't have
terrible weather.
email and things, did they?
Mm.
No. So that's
No,
the
they didn't.
lowlands of
That's,
Holland.
And it's not about Holland.
It's not about Holland.
Is that your angle?
Yeah.
Garden Sessions letters
The shuffling of
is
papers.
in the letters bag today.
It was a fun angle, Dave. Not about Holland.
Try and teach you something.
Okay,
Give you a
I've
bit
got
of information.
Right, I've got the first letter here. Dear Garden Sessions. Well, I must just comment on the most excellent King and Queen on last week's podcast. That's a reference to Frank Burkitt's King and Queen from his forthcoming album. Mr. Burkitt is certainly a very talented songwriter and seems to have surrounded himself with a great band of musicians. Silver. You see what?
Kind of side compliment there.
Can't wait for the album release in May. Ta chaps, and we get a couple of kisses, and that's from a highly intelligent
Hold on.
scientist in the lab.
Hold on, there's only 2 kisses and there's 3 of us.
Oh,
Who's
well.
not getting one?
You
Who's
can
not
have mine,
getting
Dave. I got described as very talented.
Very talented, so I get the. Well, there you go. As long as everyone's happy.
I didn't get described as very talented, actually. I was
Silver, give us a letter.
Right. Dear Garden Sessions, what is Tom Harland playing at?
Oh,
By my calculations, it's been almost a month since his return to New Zealand.
it has
Not
been
to mention the
almost a
previous 4 months.
Yeah.
And yet, there has still been no further progress with his much lauded Odyssey. I'm sure I speak for many listeners when I say that I have missed his sultry voice in my ear, giving me the best of folk.
month. Everyone loves Tom.
Just like
Everyone
to-
loves those.
We
Tom
never
tones.
get any emails like this. Why is there nothing about our sultry
It's obviously
voices?
his sultry voice that does it really. We're
Yeah.
not sultry enough.
Silver.
I think I'm actually reading
Silver.
it.
We're not sultry enough.
I'm working on my sultriness.
Well, there you go. Come
I
on.
feel somewhat betrayed by his continued entries in the feedback forum. Where are you, Tom? And that's from Janice in Vancouver.
Well, Janice, what we can tell you is that the Odyssey stuff has arrived. It's just a question of getting it together. By the next show, we will have Odyssey for you. We can promise you that with hand on heart. And there will be a blog going up on the website very, very soon.
That's very exciting.
It's very exciting. There's loads of stuff. Tom has pulled his finger.
It's new information for Silver, and he's
but the question is, can
over.
Janice hold out for another 2 weeks?
She's going to have to.
Well,
it's not really, it's no question about it.
Who knows? That's the letters bag. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. It's time for our feature, which is the Royal Oak Folkathon 2008 in aid of sick kids.
Jack
what a day.
there.
How exciting. Here it is.
Wally's gate to Melville Castle, boots and spurs and a to bid the ladies of Fairfield of Four Haggies awa. Wally's young and blithe and bonny, lured by Yanara. What will all the lassies do when Wally's gate awa?
I'm outside the Royal Oak. I'm joined by Andy Chung, the Fife folk legend himself, who opened today's folkathon for sick kids. Andy, how did that go?
It started off quite easy and it was nice, great afternoon.
Hell of a crowd as well for is this early on a Saturday.
Well, as we were saying earlier on, there's a big bucket there lying on the table where I was playing to collect money for the sick kids hospital, and could always do with more percussion. That's what I was saying. We could always do with more percussion during the songs. It's always a pleasure to come back. It's great.
Well, thanks very much, Andy. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the folkathon.
No bother. Here's the garden sessions. All the best.
Under Paladin's field of gore, hark how they cry, Claymore, Claymore. See how they fight. What can they more that fought and died for Tilly? A sheep foe, a sheep foe, a sheep rise and
Martin Boland and Alan Hunter, B&H, Boland and Hunter, however they want to call themselves. They've just finished their set, and I'm joined by Alan and Martin now, and there's a sprinkle of rain in the air, so this interview may be cut short. Thanks for joining us on the Garden Sessions. How did that go, do you think?
We enjoyed it. I thought it was very good. My bit was good. Alan was pish, but you can't expect everything when a man's as old as him and has been doing it for as long as he is. He can't be at the top of his form every day, of course. I mean, he's not getting paid for it. He frankly doesn't care.
I think that's a crass and vulgar remark.
Well, we've got it on the record now. There's friction with B&H, but I understand just
lubrication won't fix, John.
I understand that you're still to play another set this evening.
Apparently we're to do another hour, but I think we're going to be here till the bitter end, I think.
Sinsheen are currently playing at the moment, Barbara Dimmock and Christine Kidd. What do you reckon to that?
I think that's very nice. I never had them down as people with any consideration for another living soul at all, but I've been proved wrong. They've been willing to turn out and do their bit. The more sick children we have, the better, and they obviously feel the same way.
My name's Alan Foster, and I'm here doing a literary pub crawl with some wonderful people from Arizona, Dundee, Dublin, Cork, etc, etc. And we'd all like your website, Garden Sessions, to buy us all a drink. What do you say?
And I think on friends most dear, way up bitter tear, and alas, I am weary, weary
Well, we just finished the set this afternoon with Sinsheen, Barbara Dimmock and Christine Kidd, and they joined me downstairs in the Oak now after the set. That was fantastic.
Well, it seems to be going really well. It's quite busy in there, and people are singing along and throwing money in the bucket and everything. So, yeah, it's a really lovely atmosphere, actually. Even though it's a Saturday afternoon in a pub, everybody's listening and having fun.
Well, that's it, yeah, because I mean there isn't a folkathon every week in the Oak, but the crowd aren't just the sort of normal crowd you were getting here. People have come out specifically to hear it. I mean, it seems to be a good turnout.
Yeah, there's a couple of guys saying to me that they wouldn't normally listen to folk music, but because it was a Saturday afternoon and it was here, they've listened and actually really enjoyed it.
And you're returning to the Oak come the summer for one of the Festival Folk at the Oak gigs, I believe, as well.
What we're doing that week is we're doing the Star Folk Club in Glasgow on Thursday the 21st. We're going to do the Wee Folk Club on the Friday, and then on the Saturday we're promoting our own concert in the Fringe.
So you're doing a concert out with the Oak then during the festival as well then?
We are, yes, and we're doing that for John Barrow's AMC up at St Bride's. So that's on the Saturday.
I'm sure it'll be a grand gig. It's a good venue as well at St Bride's. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Sinsheen. I'll let you on your merry way. It's been a fantastic set. Thanks for joining us on the garden sessions. Take it easy.
Thanks.
I'm downstairs in the Oak again with Bob Boardman of the Arrows, and I've got an exclusive here because we're looking at a Bob Dylan goes electric kind of moment. Now, the plan is, from what I can see, is that Stuart, your guitarist, is going to be plugging in his electric guitar. Now, garden sessions listeners will be familiar with the black is the colour.
As am I now. We're going to have electric mandolin and electric guitar.
Electric mandolin?
Yes.
How does that work?
I'm just going to plug it into a battery-powered amp, and I've got to pick up on the mandolin itself, just because it's too quiet to
Right, okay, so essentially the mandolin will just be a bit louder.
With effects, I'm going to have a delay effect, and using our very own Martin Boland's acoustic effects pedal, we're going to be ripping the sound through the Oak.
There is going to be a ruckus, I can feel it. I'm looking forward to it. I personally can't wait. Best of luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Well, the time has come. The Arrows are about to come on. I'm standing with Andy Chung, still taking in the proceedings. Andy, we're about to get electric guitar in the Royal Oak. What do you think to that?
Oh, well, there's no Judas in my vocabulary. Really, I mean, I think that's fair enough. You know,
do you think there could be cries of it?
Well, no, not at all. You know, I think everybody's got a wide view of things. You know, I think. Really.
However this goes down, there's going to be drama in the air, I think. Ivor, what do you think to the Arrows show here? This is a first for the Oak, is it not?
It's a first, yes. First time I've actually heard them as well. Usually they're playing downstairs practicing, and I can hear them when I'm working upstairs.
It's a mean folk rock. We'll take on some more of it, I think. The Oak is a jumping. The Arrows are nearing the end of their set. I'm just leaning on the fireplace. I'm joined by Robin of the Oak. You're taking in a bit of the Arrows. You've only just arrived. But what do you think to this electric acoustic thing?
I enjoy it very much, actually, yeah.
I'm glad are there any acts you're looking forward to still to come in the day?
I'm looking forward to it. I was a bit disappointed I missed Callum, but I heard he didn't play.
He didn't, no.
No, it was a bit of a shame.
Just meant we got an extra hour of Chung. The Arrows have realised that the wind machine was a good investment. I'm joined by Bob Stewart and Adam, the Arrows outside the Oak. Nice set that you did there. How did you feel it went?
Well, I just think the fake snow was a bit overboard, but yeah.
Well, I don't know, it added something.
It did, actually. We wanted a foam machine, but we couldn't get that in time. So the fake mountain didn't arrive either, so...
That was a lot of electricity for a folk session, certainly. But there were no cries of Judas. It seemed to go down well.
Yeah, much to our surprise, actually.
Yeah. We got a few donations, it was good.
Yeah.
Who was it? Someone gave you £5 to do some... Ace of Spades.
Yeah, that was the low point, I think. That was the low point of the gig. But you raised some money for charity.
That's the main reason.
And of course, you guys are all barmen at the Oak, as Garden Sessions listeners will be familiar with you.
That's probably why we weren't lynched, to be honest.
That's why you got away with it. So you guys work in the bar later on today?
Yes, we are. We're here.
All three of us. We're here to the early hours. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us in the Garden Sessions. The Arrows, they live and breathe the Royal Oak and folk, and with a touch of rock.
Smile creeping onto their faces, memories fall into place. How they die nostalgia, thinking back, thinking far ahead, so far ahead.
It's an honour to be asked along to play at the Folkathon. It's something I missed last year, sadly, and I'm glad to be here today.
And you've been taking some of the music. What have you thought of what you've heard?
Listening to Sinshin is a treasure. It's beautiful music. They're both very talented singers and musicians, and it's just really nice to see it in the good old Royal Oak.
Carolyn and Ona Scott featuring Billy Crabe on bass. I'm joined outside the Oak with the man behind the Wee Folk Club and Edinburgh Folk Club, Eberhard Paddy Bort, a legend on the folk scene, a staple on the Edinburgh folk scene, you might say. You only just arrived at the Folkathon about, 20 minutes or so ago, and you just came in during the Arrows set there. That's some quite surreal stuff for a folk session.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not the given thing every day at the Oak that you have an electric guitar there, but why not, you know? I mean, it's...
well, he can play it.
Absolutely. And it went down well.
Events such as these obviously aren't so much for the furthering of folk music, but for raising money for sick kids. But it's great to see that folk music can bring in people and can raise that money.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing that has excelled at the Oak for years and years. You know, that the charity aspect, bringing folk musicians and acoustic musicians of all kinds together and doing these marathon things, whether it's sometimes, you know, was for birthdays or it was for the sick kids or it was other occasions, you know, even birthdays of the Oak itself. But this is a great initiative, and it brings folk together. And even on a pretty dreary, wet Saturday afternoon, you have a full house here.
Apart from the obvious highlight of the day, which is watching Ivor run around like a madman, shaking tins and raising money, are there any acts that you're looking forward to seeing?
I believe there is some one Jack Foster coming up later on. That
may be true.
I mean, Catherine Nichol is always good for a pacey session, you know, fine fiddle player. And I'm sure there's a big finale in store when the Royal Oak Bunch is taking to the stage, as it were, you know.
Well, thanks very much for joining us on the Garden Sessions, Paddy Bort.
Cheers.
Well, I'm now behind the bar at the Oak, and I'm with May Mackenzie, who's been pouring the pints all day. It's pretty hectic behind here, so she's having to speak to me whilst she pours pints. How have you been finding the Folkathon?
It's been absolutely wonderful, even better than last year, so hopefully we'll raise more money than we did last year.
Obviously you're looking at it from behind the bar, but any highlights thus far?
Well, I must admit I enjoyed the Arrows. I thought they were brilliant.
Was something about it?
Yeah, I think I'll be a groupie for the Arrows.
But is that a biased opinion? Because of course they are bar staff here.
But apart from that, I like the music.
Thank you very much, mate. I'll let you get on with pouring the pints. Cheers.
Right, thanks, John.
I'm joined by regular Royal Oak punter Campbell. What do you reckon to today's proceedings?
I think today's proceedings is an absolute fantastic event, and the money raised today is going to a great charity, the Sick Children's. But the talent here is the musicians and the people that's coming in. I mean, everything today has been absolutely fantastic. It's been first class folk, first class company. You can't ask for anything else, and all you're asking for is the donation to sick kids.
the relentless Hook Magandhi.
Okay, so Jack has been called up to fill in for an hour because Martin Andrews has got a gig elsewhere. So I'm now down with Hook Magandhi. Going to grab a little word with them. So I believe you've not really played in the Royal Oak before. You usually play in the Scotsman Bar. How have you found the Royal Oak for playing in?
Oh, great. Fantastic. You know, when we first started off playing, you know, we were primarily an acoustic sort of band and what have you. We've added more electrics as the time went on. It just becomes a wee bit impractical to play in venues like the Oak, but it's it's a fantastic place to play. Obviously, you know, it's got a long tradition in Edinburgh, and we've been drinking in here for years, but never got round to playing. So there we go, perfect opportunity.
And have you found the crowd have accepted you well? Got a good crowd listening to you tonight?
Aye, if they're not in the mood, they soon will be.
Well, thanks very much, guys. It was lovely to hear you play. Cheerio.
Cheers, thanks very much.
As I said earlier on, Jack was called in to do an hour earlier than he was meant to be. He hadn't planned on there being anybody recording him play, but I thought it's only fair that we have a little bit of a listen to one of his finest songs, Come On Kirkcaldy.
It makes me proud to say Kirkcaldy is my tune, and I am here to stay. Come on, Kirkcaldy, I want to see your happy face again. Come on, Kirkcaldy, I only came 2,000 miles to see one of your lovely smiles.
Self-penned number there from Jack Foster.
He said it. He said it. He said it. One of 5 or 6 kids to be credit. Anytime I live with me, anytime I live with me,
George Shepherd, Bill Purvis and Billy Crabe. The Oak is in a state of anticipation. Ivor is still running around like a headless chicken, raising cash for really what is a fantastic cause. The Sick Kids Hospital in Edinburgh, Bob Boardman of the Arrows. There is a kind of a carnival atmosphere here, is there not?
Yeah, a lot of people. This is the busiest I've seen the pub at this time of night.
And no momentum lost from this afternoon?
Absolutely not. We're still buzzing, waiting for the shift to start for the rest of the night.
You're yet to go behind the bar?
Yes, I have to work 8 till 2 tonight.
I'm joined outside the Oak now by Freddie Thompson, who's playing with Catherine Nichol and friends. They're doing the set before 9 o'clock tonight on the Folkathon. Freddie, this has been one hell of a day. There's a carnival atmosphere in the Oak.
And what's especially good for me, when I was a kid delivering milk, I slid on the ice, fell on it on fingers full of broken bottles. I got taken to the Sick Kids. I got an operation. They work now. I mean, I can hold a bone, no problem. Wonderful institution, the Sick Kids. It's a big thing in Edinburgh. Every penny's important. Every penny.
So we're putting something back here.
Folk music's about kids, man. If there was no kids, there would be no folk music. If there was no folk music, there would be no... there'd be nothing. I don't know.
Without folk, would be lost.
Without folk, would be very, very lost. You're perfectly correct.
Well, thank you very much, Freddie Thompson. I'll let you get in and get on with this set. Have a good one.
Thank you.
It's tune time. Catherine Nichol and friends. So, Dave, Silver,
you're on the tee,
and Frank, and everyone else. That's what you missed. I was on the tee initially.
I don't think he was on it by the end of the report. I think you could quite clearly hear that he wasn't on the tee. But there you go.
Off the tee.
Off the tee by the end, yeah.
Oh, it sounds like it was fantastic.
It was a wonderful, wonderful
and well
day.
worthwhile as well. So
indeed. And so much stuff there. What, the Arrows? Causing a stir.
What about you?
And singing backing vocals and come on.
Yes, flanking Come on Kirkcaldy as well. How did that get in there?
Your finest
Musical
moment. Oh dear.
Only the Arrows could perform a musical flanking with such skill.
They were like your wingman, the Red Arrows, you might call them.
Anyway, as Silver told us earlier on in the Folk News, that it's over £800. So hey, it was a hell of a day. What fun, and I hope you'll be there next year.
Yes.
Podcast.
And we come to the end of episode 57 of the Garden Sessions.
Storming to the finish line.
57 episodes. 57 hours of Garden Sessions.
Yeah, and we have but 2 more shows before the birthday concert as well.
Indeed, and that's going to be exciting. We will be bringing you more on that in the next show and on the website. Frank will be back, and then he'll be away again, I believe.
And
Odyssey.
Yeah, he will. And we can promise Odyssey.
We can promise Odyssey.
And soon we can promise Blog.
And we can promise
Tantiri.
Tantiri's featured artist on the next show. It's going to be a good one.
It is.
So join us for that. It's a Garden Sessions. Contact us at podcast@gardensessions.co.uk. The website's gardensessions.co.uk. We're available 98.8 in the Edinburgh area. Leith FM.
Where Leith lives.
Till next time, from myself, Jack Foster, Chris Silver, Dave Engels Gimble. Take it easy.
Cheerio.
Bye.